Hi everyone, my name is Sumeet Verlekar. I'm the founder of Tilden Global Education Mentors. Today we have with us a very special guest. We have Priyam, and he's our brand new admit to the to UC Berkeley's Masters in Financial Engineering, MFE. So, hi Priyam.
Hi, Sumeet. Yeah.
So,
How are
Priyam,
you
let's
doing?
start
Yeah.
with an introduction, right? Let's start with telling our viewers who you are and where you come from.
Sure, sounds good. So I graduated from IIT Bombay in 2023. I'm from Mumbai. So, yeah, I studied engineering physics at IIT Bombay. So I already had a predisposition towards, math and stats. But after graduating from IIT Bombay, I joined Barclays, where I worked as a research analyst in the quantitative portfolio strategies group. I spent about a year and a half there, and in my time there, I realized like I kind of wanted to get another degree. So I started applying, and I'll be starting at UC Berkeley's Masters in Engineering program. Yeah. So that's kind of about me the last few years. Yes.
Wonderful. So this obviously for the viewers, this takes me back because as most of you guys, or some of you guys at least would know, I'm myself a Berkeley alum. I pursued my MBA from UC Berkeley House School of Business. So it was I was so blown away when I had a text with Priyam earlier today and I saw the iconic 510 code, which basically is for Berkeley. So it's really nice to kind of imagine you going to my alma mater and hopefully a future alumni very soon. So uh, the question I wanted to really ask you is why MFE, and we can take it from there.
Yeah. So I think there's multiple reasons, but I would say, as I said, uh, having studied engineering physics, I definitely already had the requisite technical background to be able to pursue a degree in financial engineering. That was there. But of course, my time in Barclays also played a key role in moving me towards pursuing another degree. Having worked as a research analyst, I kind of realized the importance of gaining further formal knowledge in the field. Also working with PhD researchers back in Barclays uh, made me realize that why this was important for me. So both of these factors combined, already being a bit passionate about physics and the math involved was nice. And finance, of course, in itself is a very diverse and interesting field. So all of these reasons combined led to me deciding to apply for an MFE. Yeah.
For a lot of people, let's kind of elucidate what is financial engineering, right? And what is quant finance. So do you want to maybe just take a minute to kind of talk about what is MFE and what is quant finance and how is it different than finance?
Oh, that's a tough one. But uh, in essence, quant finance is the application of uh, statistical techniques and mathematical techniques to the field of finance. So, in recent years, over the last 2 decades or so, as financial data has become more publicly available, it's become more easy to analyze. It's become more readily accessible to be analyzed by statisticians and so forth. So it's grounded in financial and economic theory. There is a lot of theory in quantitative finance, but in essence, yes, it is the application of statistical and mathematical techniques to finance. That's how I like to keep it.
No, okay, let's kind of, because this is not really a focus on what is MFE. I'm sure that there are a lot of videos out there, but it's interesting to kind of, see your
Yeah,
perspective. Also an element of technology involved, right, to an extent
of
in
course.
here. So anyways, so that's something that is kind of, maybe for another day we could probably have a chat regarding that. So what led you to, for example, if I were to just kind of take you back, maybe about 6, 7 months, 8 months, right, when you was just starting about your application. So what were some of the thoughts that were going on, right, in your mind, right? How did you decide that, yes, you know what, now I want to get into pursuing a master's in finance or a MFE? And then, how all, like, what all steps did you take?
Yeah, so it actually it had become clear to me over the last earlier last year itself that I wanted to get an MFE. So the first thing obviously to do is to speak to other people who have already pursued it. So that's what I did. I looked up the kind of jobs they've been able to get after the program, the kind of fields they've been able to pursue. Not everyone necessarily chooses to get a job and can go back into academia. So I explored all of that first, having spoken to people, and then it was also an objective that I wanted to move countries, experience a new place and culture. That was also a motivator. So these are all the thoughts I had back then in my head when I decided that, okay, I want to go for an MFE and I want to apply for it. And one thing led to another, and I was able to get in touch with you. Uh, and yeah, and then we worked together finally. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I remember that, not like naming names, but obviously I'd worked with someone that Priyam knew well, and
Yeah.
she had gotten into like a lot of top schools as well. So obviously, very,
Yes.
very happy and very privileged to be able to work with you. And I think it was a great experience there. So do you want to maybe talk about how did you go about shortlisting the schools? I mean, this is just more for people who are listening, who are considering how do they go about, like, what criteria and all of that stuff when you go about shortlisting the schools.
Yeah. So there's actually if you intend on being a quant, there's a resource everyone should check out called Quant.net. So Quant.net has these rankings of the different programs which are there in Europe and US for to become in quantitative finance. So that was the place where I started. But of course, the rankings are not everything, and there's a lot of other factors you need to think about before you shortlist your schools. So, so the top schools I was looking at back then were MIT, Haas, Berkeley, Columbia, uh, so Georgia Tech. So these are all programs I was looking at, but I was not clear which ones am I the most suited for. I did have an inkling in terms of, okay, I want to end up at MIT or Berkeley Haas or Princeton, but it is not that simple. That's why Sumit was able to help me a lot uh, in in letting me know, where where which schools would be the best for me in terms of my experience at the program, of course, first, but not just that, but where my profile would match the best, the kind of cohort I would end up in at all of these different places, and that helped me a lot in deciding that okay, Haas is probably the best choice for me given the people coming here already have some work experience. I would feel in a similar plane as everyone else in the class.
Right. Right. So let's now talk quickly about the process. So I mean, just kind of broadly, as you're sort of starting to think about MFE, like looking from outside in, right? What does the broad process look like? And what's is there like a sequence that you used to really prepare and take it
Yeah, so the broad process for MFEs is, I suppose, similar to any other grad application with a few differences. So obviously there will be essays. Obviously you have to submit your standardized test scores. There will be interviews. Uh, but the differences are some schools will take a test, their own test, not a standardized test, where they want to judge your mathematical ability or your technical skills before they give you an admit. And also, of course, the interviews are not necessarily all behavioral in all the places. So many schools will have technical interviews and not behavioral interviews. So, for example, even my interview at Haas was not a behavioral one, it was a technical one. where I was asked questions I would be asked in any other job interview too if I was interviewing for a quant field. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. So that therein lies, the complexity
Yeah.
of the MFE, where the interview is very technical. It's almost they want to make sure that you have that in-depth technical understanding of what you're getting into, because unlike an MBA or any other management program, which is a bit more oriented around leadership, and of course there is a lot of leadership involved at MFE, but it's kind of the balance. If you were to, for example, weigh it, right? If there is a way that we could weight the different factors that lead to you want to be successful in a particular program, then for a quant program like MFE or MFIN, there's a lot of weight they would put in terms of understanding your quantitative aptitude and your analytical ability. So hence the interview is very technical, and you just have to, I mean, we could probably do a different video around technical interviews, right? But obviously not today. But of course, there is a lot of information out there, and we could also provide you some information around that for sure, right? In case you guys want to reach out, we'll basically put in our contact details in the description, and you can definitely connect with us. Um, just one other thing that I wanted to check with you is that when you're now that you've kind of finished the process, right? What is it that you see yourself doing, right? So, for example, in terms of goals, right, like post MFE and long term, what is it that you feel you want to do?
Uh, that's a tough one, but obviously, I had an idea in my mind even before I was applying.
Right.
I wanted to end up probably at an asset manager as a quantitative researcher or a hedge fund as a quantitative researcher. So those ideas were there in my head. But of course, when working on the essays, I kind of had when working with Sumit on the essays, I kind of had the opportunity to also introspect on my goals, and also what options are the other options which are available to me, or options which actually align more closely with the values I hold. I'm also discovering some of the values I held in the process. Uh, I I think uh, the one of the key things I discovered was I really do value technical jobs a lot. I do value the technical aspect a lot, and that's how I ended up at an IIT, and I think I'll keep valuing that. So ending up as a quantitative researcher is probably one of the best things which can happen to me, because it will be closer to the values I hold, and also is an area where I could excel, given it's an area I've excelled previously. So. Uh, these were obviously just notions in my head before I actually started working on any of the essays or the story pitch with Sumit, but they did become more solidified and more elaborate in my head as to what my underlying motivations were in the process. And I think that's only going to help me in achieving those now that I am here at Haas.
I, I wish you all the absolute best as
Yeah.
you start this very challenging but a very exciting program. So, any final words for people who may be viewing this? Any kind of words of advice? Anything that you would want to potentially have them do differently than what you did, maybe? So, like, just any final thoughts?
Uh, Not nothing in particular, but I think the one thing I would want to leave people with is that the class here at Haas, for example, it is very diverse. So do not carry any notions in your head, just because I'm working in a non-technical role, I cannot be a quantitative researcher. If you do think it is something you would be interested in, I would recommend you evaluate your, predisposition for it. You evaluate your ability to excel in it and then make a call. Uh, you don't have to disqualify yourself for any reason, necessarily at all, to be honest. There are many people who have moved into this field from seemingly unrelated degrees. So, that's all I really want to leave people with. So, yeah.
So, with that, I think we will conclude. Priyam Dubey, of course, is available on LinkedIn. So am I, Sumit Verlekar. So feel free to hit us up, send us messages. Would be more than happy to connect with you guys. And of course, if we will put our contact details. You can see the website behind me. You can always go there and figure out what our email is. But we'll also have our contact details, in the description of this particular video. So with that, I think we will conclude. I thank you, Priyam, for being here.
Thank you so much, Sumi, for giving me this opportunity.
No, absolutely. My pleasure. And, all the very best. And for all of you guys, good luck as you're thinking about going ahead. This is an awesome program to look at. It's, for me, at least, the gold standard for all quant programs in the world. So obviously, look at the Berkeley MFE and look at similar programs. And if we can be a part of your journey, we'd definitely love to. All right. All the best and take care. Bye bye.